Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Navs Effect podcast. I'm your host, Navika Glani. Got a fun episode today. We are going to recap the happenings of what was a eventful DLSU versus UP contest for their second round matchup, with DLSU winning again, and also some of the other theatrics, shall we say, of the UAAP weekend, UE versus UST, what that's going to do as we get to the finishing stages of the Final Four chase. Nico Rocha will come on the show momentarily. Can't wait to get all into it. Should be a fun episode. But first, let's listen to this quick word from our friends over at, you know where it is, Finn Cotton.
I want to say congratulations on all your success.
Congrats to Finn Cotton Sneaker.
Para sa lahat ng mga kababayan natin dyan. Disenyong Pinoy.
Disenyo ng Pinoy para sa Pinoy. Dinisenyo ng Pinoy para sa Pinoy.
Dinisenyo ng Pinoy para sa Pinoy.
Disenyong Pinoy para sa mga Pinoy.
One of the best seller nila sa Fin Cotton, napaka-quality.
Napakasarap po sa paa. Halos parang natutulog lang yung mga hinlalaki ko sa paa. The best. Fin Cotton is the best policy. Nobody's perfect.
Okay, hello everybody. We're now joined by Nico Rocha. What's up to the community? I see many people are already tuned in. Much appreciated for that. Yes, Monday night, it's 9:02 p.m. And I know many of you tuned in to find out if we're going to do a Life Corner product review segment. By the way, Nico has no idea what this inside joke is. I want you all to know that
Ano yun?
I brought the egg, ladies and gentlemen. I brought the egg. But we're not gonna get into that just yet.
pa
The
naman
egg
ah.
will make its appearance later on. We have a lot to unpack, but first, the Atenes, my bad, the De La Salle Green Archers taking on the UP Fighting Maroons. I said Ateneo, force of habit. They were contenders for so many years. But the DLSU Green Archers win once again against the UP Fighting Maroons. 11 points this time. LaSalle beat UP by 12 in the first round. LaSalle has now won 4 straight games against University of the Philippines. LaSalle has won 6 out of the last 8 UAAP matchups against the Fighting Maroons. LaSalle, since their final game of the first round in UAAP Season 86, are 23-2. Again, let me repeat that. In their last 25 UAAP men's basketball games, the DLSU Green Archers are 23-2, which is crazy in of itself. They've won 9 straight games. They are 12-1, and they have assured themselves of first seed in the Final Four chase. Nico, when we did our preseason UAAP podcast episode, we both kind of decided that UP was 1A, LaSalle was 1B because of how the offseason went. Remember, we said because
UP ba pinili ko number 1? Was UP my 1A?
we both
Was
went
it?
UP. Yeah, we gave
Huh.
UP that rank because of the fact that they beat DLSU twice
Ayun, okay.
in the
Okay,
preseason.
sabi ni JM. Okay. I trust you guys. I
Exactly.
forget what I say sometimes.
um, and that was rightfully so because, like we said, UP won the championship of Phil Oil by beating LaSalle.
Yeah.
And then, sometime middle of the season, middle of the first round, we were like, okay, UP is 1, LaSalle is 2, because LaSalle was playing kind of sloppy to start the first round, while UP was beating everyone out of the gates. Then after their first round encounter, I think you and I kind of decided LaSalle 1A, UP 1B out of respect for the fact that LaSalle beat UP at the first round. Now, as we get to the end of the second round and we get closer to the Final Four, is it fair to say, given the score of last night's game, LaSalle is 1 and UP is 2? What do you think, Nico?
UP is number 2, LaSalle's 1.
Yep.
Well, I'm really convinced na LaSalle is the more coordinated team this season. Ang ganda ng flow nila. While UP, I don't remember the last time UP has had this kind of finish to a season. I think I mentioned it in a TikTok video na parang ever since the Carl Tamayo years, ito ata yung worst na the way they're ending a regular season. Now, I mean, worst in terms of their standards. Kasi any team would kill to be in this position for as where UP is, right? As the second seed. But medyo lumalayo yung gap ng Lasal sa UP as of right now. So, mukhang so far they're killing our predictions of saying 1A yung UP, 1B yung Lasal. So, nakaka-distract yung chat. Okay. Ano tayo? General patronage. Anyway, yun. Pero yun pa rin. More of a nice to see Lasal killing at the right time. Imagine wala pang Earl Abadam yan. While also, we have to mention na wala nga si QMB last game, right? Round 1, wala naman si JD. So I'm curious to see what would it look like with a complete UP team up against Lasal. When most likely sa finals na yan, sa finals na natin makikita.
I'm sorry if Nico and I are distracted. The chat while we're recording this episode on playback right now is insane. We're reaching like R18 levels of
Okay,
discussion over here. Guys, you all know Fran Lewis is not yet 18, right? The guy's still a minor. Y'all are giving him.
Wait, is that 18?
No, I think he is. But he looks like he's 12.
Okay.
We call him Squishy for a reason. Anyway, I think everyone is just excited about the egg as Nico eats his breasts, chicken breast. That is. Okay, let's look at some statistics. Let's change the vibe a little bit. We're getting a little too crazy here, so let's bring out the stats. 77 to 66, magic numbers, some would say. KQ just 15 points. I say just, not out of disrespect. I say just because LaSalle didn't need him to have a massive game. This guy scored 33 against Ateneo, 31 against UST a few weeks ago. And by the way, for those criticizing me, I didn't use a pencil pen. I did the second time. So y'all can kiss my ass. Anyway.
Go!
50.
Bro, kakasimula pa lang.
Dami nag-away sa akin yesterday. But let's not get into that.
About what?
I'll tell you off the record.
Yeah,
because I don't want it to be a bigger thing. But I mentioned it in the group chat also. Some of the community knows. So 77-66, 15 points for KQ, 5 boards, plus 4. But LaSalle didn't need him to have a massive game, in part because Josh David, 12 markers, 7 boards, 4 assists, 3 steals. Mike Phillips, 14 points, 10 rebounds, plus 13. And that plus 13 ain't no random stat. Mike Phillips continues to be the riddle that UP can solve. Now, with QMB there in the first game, kind of helped UP out because he was able to deter some of Mike's shots at the rim. But without QMB around, Mike was just having his way. I mean, look, 10 rebounds and 6 of those were offensive. LaSalle had just 9 second chance points, but they kept the ball alive multiple possessions. And because of their physicality and activity on the glass, they were able to control the energy and pace of the game. UP had no answer for Mike Phillips. And when you look at the rest of the stats here, 9 for Makalalag, 6 for Agunania, who hit a 3-pointer, Coliena with 4, Gonzalez with 7. Those floaters by Raven are incredible. Dungo, plus 13 in 6 minutes, including the touchdown play that looked like NFL Sunday earlier in the Philippines.
Daming touchdown plays actually for both schools, not just LaSalle.
Yeah, you notice that they were trying to push the pace as much as possible.
Yes, enjoy naman ako. So, wow, another steal, another dunk.
Exactly. It felt like a track meet. So, in UP,
parang
Kagulangan, 22 points and 8 of 19 shooting. Baila, 10 points. Torculas, 9 points. Torres, 8 points. But everyone else didn't contribute a lot. So, when you compare both sides, LaSalle just got way more out of their overall guys as compared to UP, who relied mostly on their top MVP candidate, Kagulangan, Baila, their top rookie, and some Torculias. Looking at the stats, UP once again, 3 out of 19 from 3-point range. Nico, this feels rehearsed at this point. Whenever we see UP lose to LaSalle, it always feels like it's correlated to the fact that the 3-point shooting of UP has not been good. I tweeted this out last night. I'm not sure if you saw it. Can you guess in the last 4 games? So game 2 of the finals,
Yung
game
mga
3
gusto
of
ko,
the
mga
finals,
guess-guess. Okay.
first round and second round this season.
Sige.
UP, can you guess how many 3-pointers they've taken in those 4 games and how many they've made?
Taken. Okay. Taken siguro 77. Made.
75. So you were close.
Oh.
Okay, don't look at the
Um,
chat. Someone spoiled it.
I'm not
Try to
looking at
guess.
anything. I'm not looking at anything.
I got you. I understand. Yeah.
Mm.
So what do you think? How many makes?
17.
8 out of 75.
No way. 8?
I'm not fucking
the
with
last-
you. 8 out of 75. That is
Wow.
11% out of 3-point range.
That's crazy.
11%. So I asked assistant coach Christian Luanzan in the press conference after the game, coach, is there a correlation to the 3-point shooting or lack thereof and something to do with LaSalle's defense? And now his first comment was it's got more to do with UP's own defense. Because they haven't been playing great defense, it's bothering their momentum on offense too. And he used a term that surprised me. He called a couple of players no-shows in the game yesterday. He used those words. No-show.
no-shows.
Exactly. Harold
Christian?
Alarcon.
He said that?
Yes.
Like, he dropped some names.
Well, he didn't parang attack them personally. Let's just get that out of the
I
way.
mean,
I don't
like,
want
as an
anyone to
analytical
aggregate
standpoint.
it.
Analytical standpoint. Not naman to attack, but more of, I
But
think, accountability ba?
when discussing guys like Alarcon, 0 out of 8 from the field, Abadiano, who remember the preseason, this guy looked like the next coming of a PBA star in the making.
I know, right? We were even talking
Remember how
about it.
good he was? The
Yeah,
mid-range
I remember.
assassin. 0
I
points,
remember.
0 of 1
I
field
remember.
goal. Another off game for him. Francis Lopez, just 8 minutes, 6 points, 7 boards, 2 turnovers, 4 personal fouls. Terence Fortea, 2 points, 1 of 4 shooting. He struggled as well. And Coach Christian used the word immaturity to describe some of the reasons why UP has struggled against DLSU. And an
It's crazy.
example he gave was the technical foul by Francis in the first half. That technical foul put Francis in early foul trouble. 2 fouls early in the second period.
Yeah.
And because of that, well, he didn't get to play the rest of the first half. And he was actually having a decent game before he got into foul trouble.
Right.
And by the way,
Efficient nga numbers niya.
yeah, and by the way, Boris Marsigan, he didn't shy away from Francis. Boris Marsigan was ready
Phenom
to
boys yan. Phenom boys yan, di ba?
Phenom boy, exactly. Same mold as CJ Austria. Ain't
Oh.
afraid of anyone. And then Francis picks up 2 fouls third quarter. So by the time before the fourth quarter arrives, he already has 4 fouls. He's in foul trouble. He's out of his rhythm now. And Enzo here just pointed out, Janjan Felicilda, 4 turnovers in 9 minutes. Turnovers total 17 for DLSU, 20 for UP. Rebounding 38 for DLSU, 47 for UP. And Coach Topex mentioned after the game he's not happy about the fact that LaSalle got out-rebounded. So you also look at the field goals. 68 field goals for UP, 67 for DLSU. Free throws, LaSalle didn't shoot well from the free throw line, just 10 of 21. That's below 50%. UP, on the other hand, shot really well from the free throw line, 17 out of 22, 77%. But again, the 3-point shooting, just 3 out of 19 for UP. DLSU 5 out of 14, not that much better, but they took less attempts from 3 and they still made more than UP. And they focused on areas where they were efficient. 46.3% from the field for LaSalle, while UP was at 34%. So, statistically speaking, when you look at the numbers, LaSalle didn't play a perfect game, Nico. And this is, I think, what's concerning here if you're a UP fan. LaSalle played far from a very good game. And they still vastly outplayed UP. And in the last few matchups, LaSalle and UP have gone head-to-head. You got this vibe that ultimately this game will come down to which team can make more right plays when it matters most in the clutch, right? Or if a team can get an early big lead, maybe that's enough to pull them away. In this contest, even when UP went up big in the second quarter, the energy I got from people in the crowd or just by the way the game was going was that feels like LaSalle's gonna come back in this game. And when the game got close again in the third quarter, remember it was only like a 6 point game at the end of the third quarter. It felt like
Yeah.
LaSalle had this, diba? And in the fourth quarter, once again, UP wasn't able to execute against DLSU down the stretch of the fourth quarter. And it makes me wonder, what about the immaturity aspect that Coach Christian pointed out is a factor in making that happen? What did you see? How do you think LaSalle was able to, I don't want to say comfortably win this game, but win this game by dictating the pace and the flow of the contest in the second half?
Actually, I think this is also the benefit of being there in the press con and actually interviewing the players right after. We were there, di ba? Parang nakapila tayo dun sa press room. It's more of they trusted the system even though when they were down. Di ba may tendency kasi, if you're up against an opponent, naka-level mo, and then something doesn't work out, in the beginning, especially for LaSalle, you tend sometimes immaturity for most college players would tend to, okay, shit, kailan ko I need to take over for my team. Hindi gumagana yung namin yung pinaplano namin. Di ba usually ganun? But LaSalle kept trusting the system, the extra pass as they say, na okay, down tayo 6, pero hindi, ito yung pinapractice natin, we'll still stick to it. And that's what led to the 24 assists, diba? That's why the pace that they were playing, na kahit down sila, it's still the same, up sila, ganun pa rin. It's just more of, that's what happens when it's mostly vets. It's vets that are, how should I say this? Kasi sa UP, puro vets rin naman. It's just that LaSalle was just trusting what Coach Topex told them and not getting faced. Ganda eh. Wala naman nag-iba sa LaSalle. It's just, the shots just started to hit. And the extra pass, finding the right man at the right time. That's just pretty much it. And tama yung sinabi nga nila about sa press ko. It's what I observed as well. So, nice to see for LaSalle. And nice to see Coach Topex again in the press conference. Kasi before it was Coach Gian. And he was even making jokes about KQ, di ba? Yung sabi niya ulit, bilisan nyo ha.
Oy, bilisan nyo, may ligang labas pa yan.
Tawa ko na sinabi niya yun. Kasi kakabalik ko na ng CR nun. Sabi ko, sino nag-comment nun? Sabi ko na doon na pala sina Coach Topex. Kala ko ito sa media person who said that. Sabi niya pa si Coach Topex pa. Wala lang, nakakatawa lang. But yeah, that's pretty much how LaSalle was able to beat UP. They didn't change anything from first to fourth.
Okay, let's play a quick game right now. It's a game of true or false. And I want everyone tuning in, whether playback, YouTube, Twitter, yes, we're on Twitter now too, or Facebook, to answer these questions as I ask them. And I do want to take a moment to shout out some of our viewers, of course, members of the community on playback. We got someone watching, Ash from Nueva Ecija. Thanks for tuning in, Ash. And of course, to Kirk Damasco, one of our guys, Nico, you and I know him, the owner of Varsity Lifestyle and Get Blued. Thanks to Kirk
Asan siya?
for tuning in. He's on Facebook. He's tuning in on Facebook right now.
I'm not looking
So,
there. Nakatingin na.
My bad. Let me get Nico back on the stage. Yes, my bad. Technical difficulties there. Getting Nico back on the stage. Okay, Nico is back now.
Ano, may napindot ako, wala namang pinipindot.
May napindot ako. I was the one who accidentally pressed something. As much as we love,
kinakain mo kasi.
as much as we love to be professional on our podcast, sometimes we make mistakes too. So let's play this game. True or false? Number 1. UP's veteran players need to do a better job. And I'm not
Your audio, I think your audio is picking up from. Did you check your source? Tama
Okay.
naman.
How about now?
Yeah, better.
Okay.
Sound
So
engineer. Joke lang, di ako sound engineer. Joke time.
okay, let's do that again. So, true or false? UP's veteran players need to be better.
Yeah, true. All the more.
I
Too
agree.
much is expected.
I think
is
when you
good.
look at guys like Alarcon, Abadiano, Torres to some degree, Fortea, they need to be the guys going mano a mano, because we know JD's gonna be good and KQ's gonna be good, but Mike is also gonna be great. So who's gonna counter Mike? Normally you rely on QMB, right? So if those two even each other out in a world where JD and QMB are both playing, because we should say JD missed the first round game and QMB missed the second round game. Fortea, Alarcon, Abadiano, Torres, these other vets need to match what Lasal is getting from the likes of David, Makalalag, CJ Austria. Correct, right? We're all in agreement in that. Okay, next question. Assuming a complete DLSU roster and a complete UP roster, true or false, LaSalle has the two best players from both teams. If you're doing a draft of both teams, LaSalle and
KQ Mike.
UP,
KQ Mike. KQ
LaSalle
Mike.
has the two best players, KQ Mike. So the question here, if we're
Like
going
sabihin
to
natin mag-declare PBA draft, sabihin natin mag-declare ng PBA draft si
no,
or just in
just
general.
just impact in college ball right now.
Oh yeah, KQ Mike. Yeah.
Okay. Next question, true or false? UP has not had a good second round.
True.
Because if we're looking at the games, so they lost this game against LaSalle by 11. They were still surprised about it, but destroyed by NU in their last game. They blew out Ateneo, which was probably their most impressive showing this season. They won by 11 against Adamson, but that score was closer. That game was closer than the final score indicates. And other than that, they had a game against UST where it was tight early in the fourth quarter before UP pulled away. Another true or false question. UP slowing down at the end of the elimination round is starting to be regular.
Regular? Di naman siguro. Di pa naman naging regular. Like, when you mean like something that's been happening, it's been happening for the past seasons, or what are we talking about? Are we talking about their second half in a game, or are we talking about in the season?
Elimination round. So we're talking end of season 84 in the Goldwyn era. Season 84,
Okay.
85, 86, 87. UP tends to slow down, meaning lose games or lose their high level of play as the elimination round ends. True or false?
For some reason, ngayong season ko lang siya na-feel. Mas nararamdaman ko lang siya this season. The past years, parang hindi naman. So, false for me. Kasi feel ko, I don't know, I just feel like it's this season na weird. I don't know. Maybe recency bias. But I just felt it this year. I never felt this feeling in the previous ones.
Okay. Next question. True or false? If UP and LaSalle faced each other in the finals now, LaSalle has the upper hand. I mean, would you say LaSalle would come in as a heavy favorite?
Not heavy. Not heavy favorite. Complete? Both teams?
Complete.
50-50. It's gonna be... Because I haven't seen them. Again, hindi pa natin sila nakikita na full squad. UP against LaSalle. Like, yes, they're the favorites, but not heavy.
Okay. JP says false because, well, we all know he's fetish with the favoritism word.
Favorite ni JP yun. He needs a shirt. Favorites. Period.
I'm trying to think of one more. Okay, true or false? DLSU's coaching staff has outcoached UP's coaching staff.
Yes, so far.
True. What makes you what makes you say that?
I don't know, it's just with the adjustments, the kind of guys that they pull, the Raven Gonzalez minutes were also good, and especially in the fourth quarter, we got to see some Matthew Rubico, we got to see some Andre Dungo. Mas maganda lang yung lineup management nila. They're not running Keki to the ground, they're not running Mike to the ground. I just like the way they're rotating the minutes of the guys. And overall, like who to put at certain situations.
Interesting. Okay. Last true or false question. The whole handshake thing. It was not a good look. True or false?
Yeah, not a good look talaga, bro. Like, not a good look talaga. I mean, I'm friends with Ryan Alba. Pero, that wasn't a good look. In a PR perspective. Diba? I mean, he's a great guy. He's a really nice guy. And ako mapili ako sa tao, sobrang mapili ako sa tao. So I think people saw the worst, siguro not worst, but saw a bad light in him there because hindi nga maganda tingnan, 'di ba? Pero it wasn't a bad look talaga. It hurts your reputation. Hindi talaga maano. I can't defend him there. But yun nga, in real life, IRL, he's a good guy. It's a good guy.
All I'm gonna say is this: Coach Goldwyn shook Topex's hand. Now,
Yeah.
to each their
But
own.
the question naman is, ano yun, yung it wasn't a good look, right? I just addressed that question. Yeah. So it wasn't a good look. That's my answer. I said it.
But all I'm gonna end it with is kudos to Coach Goldwyn for being very, very classy, as he always is. And I just want this on the record now. So many people are saying it's time to let go of Coach Goldwyn if they don't win against this season.
Medyo may rumblings na ganun, no? Medyo naririnig ko na nga yan. Sabi ko, wow.
That would be dumb. Sorry, stupid. If you're gonna replace a coach, especially a successful coach, at the very freaking least, you need to replace him with someone who you can guarantee will match the accomplishments that he did. All Coach Goldwyn has done is lead his team to 3 finals, 1 championship, maybe a 4th straight finals. A 1 seed there too. Can you find someone who, if theoretically you replace him with, will guarantee maybe 4 straight finals appearances? I think that's easier said than done. So I just want to put it out there that for those of you calling for Coach Goldwyn's job or for Coach Goldwyn to be replaced, just sit back and think about it for a second, because I think that would not be a wise decision. It would only hinder your problems. I mean, it would only hinder you more. Just putting it out there. Okay, I just thought of one more. Yeah, go for it.
Wala ako sa camp na tanggalin si Coach Gold at all. Never crossed my mind.
Absolutely. One more true or false question. The way the LaSalle players are playing, do you feel that the way they're playing, it seems like they know they have a mental edge against the UP guys?
Oo. The way they're
You think
playing.
So?
Di nawawala composure nila. Usually, di ba, pag wala ka ng tiwala masyado sa sarili mo, oh shit, I gotta change. Di ba? Usually, ganun yung default ng tao. Put in a uncomfortable spot. How do you make yourself comfortable again, di ba? Pero, I don't know, I just felt like iba yung angas ng Lasal na to eh. Ito yung mga reminiscent of the Lasal teams I hated back in the day, yung mga kalaban ni Enrico.
Yung mga bad boys, no?
Mga bad boys, pero yung mga stars nila, mga bait eh.
Bad boys on the court, pero...
Bad boys on the court, pero pagkalabas,
I mean, think about it. You call them bad boys on the court. Mike Phillips and some of his teammates were literally at a worship concert the night before the game. They were at MOA Arena at a worship concert because they wanted to be there for their friend Earl Abadam, who needed what Mike said was healing after his injury. And of course, our prayers are out to Earl for his recovery. And they also held a charity event for the kids near the DLSU dorm, a basketball charity event.
Grabe talaga.
And their favorite thing to say is God did. I mean,
it's on a shirt. It's on a shirt, right? They have their own brand. Is it theirs?
I believe they partnered up with some people. We wrote about that in All Star Magazine, so you guys can check it out there, written by Javi Bautista, our lifestyle editor. So you have, when you look at the LaSalle teams that have been championship worthy teams, you have the early 2000s of Cardona, Retualo, Cortez, Don Aliado. They weren't, let's say, the nicest people in terms of like trash talking. They liked letting you know that they were beating you. Casio and the Meyerhofer team, not as much, but to some degree, Franz Pomar and Pernion, the Mayhem teams would trash talk the hell out of you. Those Mayhem guys were trash talking you. The LaSalle players, some do, like the Marasigans, the Austria, but the guys like Mike, KQ, they might be angas on the court, but off the court, they're unique from the LaSalle teams we've seen over the years. Do you think that actually helps them on the court too?
Definitely, man. Like, it's just what makes this LaSalle team very likable. Diba? Ito alam kong likable tong team na 'to. Kasi 'di ba, we're friends with some Ateneo Titos. The fact na yung mga Ateneo Titos na yan na nasa 40s, 50s, like a Lasal team, that's your proof na if they could be converted, what more tayong mga not what more yung fans right now, 'di ba? So, really hard it's really hard to root against Lasal or hate them for lack of a better term.
Agree. It's still,
'Di
as
ba?
you
Napapansin ko
and I
sa
are
mga
the
tito, eh.
same in terms of that we grew up watching this Ateneo Lasal rivalries where
Oo.
both sides had a certain disdain for each other, right? Even if
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah. That's how
always
how we
respect.
grew up. That's our version. Oo.
And the last 2 years, you're seeing the Ateneo fans root for Lasal against UP, which I still find kind of
It's so weird,
strange.
no? It's
But
so
yeah,
weird. Parang,
and especially I thought that would change after the Mason Amos thing during the
Wala pa
off
rin.
season,
Ano nangyari? Alright.
but
Alright.
we'll see when Mason plays next season. Okay, give me before we move on to the next topics because we have a lot to talk about here. Give me your main takeaways from this LaSalle win. Like ultimately, large picture, what kind of impressions did this performance by DLSU and UP leave in your mind in terms of where these two teams are and with the thought that they could possibly meet for another final series a few weeks from now?
Well, for me, it's Lasal on the opposite ends of a spectrum with regards to their peaking at the right time. 'Di ba usually Lasal peaks too early. 'Di ba? Ganun yung issue before sa kanila. But right now, they're doing so well. They look like the favorites but not overwhelming. Siguro I give them 10-20% edge over UP, not 50-60. Kasi again, yun nga, no, kulang yung UP. You gotta give them the benefit of the doubt. And yeah, that's where it left me. Still Lasal, UP, and then free for all na yung 3-4. It's a free for all. Actually, although now gusto ko makita kalabanan na UP Adamson just so we like in the final four. Like the only reason I wish Adamson would be actually the Adamson has a chance to be the third seed, right? Because if Adamson beats UST and they have identical record and then their records they have a chance though. They have a chance from 5-3. It could happen. Could happen. So, maganda yun. It's gonna be close. Pag UP Adamson, who knows? Adamson might still one. Might steal one. While Lasal will
Absolutely.
go up against, I don't know, UST? Would be UST. The more likely opponent. Or UE. I don't know. Parang ganun.
Let's get to some comments here sent by our spectators. Fran Lu says, DLSU showing consistency, starting the season strong and never looking back this eliminations. If they don't let UE go hot from 3 in the round 1 matchup, baka may chance silang mag-sweep ang elims. That's a good point. We were talking about UP possibly sweeping the eliminations when the season started. Imagine this, let's look at the stats real quick. I want to go back to the early LaSalle UE game where UE handed LaSalle what's so far been their only loss this season. LaSalle lost that game 75-71. In that game, DLSU shot 2 out of 16 from 3. In that game, UE shot 12 out of 30, 40%. And KQ missed 2 free throws down the stretch of the game that could have sent it to OT where LaSalle might have won the game. That has been LaSalle's only loss this season. It goes to show the consistency they're playing with, and it goes to show that when you have someone like Kiambao there, your margin for error is much wider because he can clean up so much of your mistakes. I mean, even yesterday, he was making jump shots I haven't seen a college player hit since probably Kiefer Ravena. Like there were even at least I think I counted 2 or 3, maybe like 3 shots where he got fouled. He made 2 of them, and the refs didn't call the foul. But the defenders were literally up there on his grill, hands up like that, and he was making middies. He was making corner 3-point shots. They're playing with a swagger now. Now, would I count out UP? No, absolutely not. Again,
Yeah,
it's
never
not an
count out UP.
excuse. It's not an excuse, but UP didn't have Kagulangan in round 1 and they didn't have QMB in round 2. They're expected to have QMB back soon. I think UP can still match up with DLSU. They show this in the preseason. And I think that maybe with a little tinkering there, they could solve some of the issues. And ultimately, the 3 ball will have to start going in for UP, right? That 3-point shot will eventually have to start going in for UP. they're 8 out of 75 the last 4 games. It's gonna progress to the mean at some point. But LaSalle right now, I think in terms of physicality and teamwork, in terms of moving the ball, running the right sets, setting up the right plays, LaSalle just seems to be a little bit better than UP. And when things start going wrong for UP, LaSalle is able to bounce on those issues right away and build leads. At least that's what we've seen this season. UP needs to play a consistent game. Like Coach Christian said, they have to work on their maturity, decision making. So many times they crowded the paint, prevented penetration. It led to easy kickouts, passing. It was like LaSalle had them on a string. And UP again, we have mentioned this so many times, but UP is at their best when they're able to create turnovers, get rebounds, run out on the breaks. In the second quarter, they went up by 11 in large part because they did this: force turnovers, transition, and when they do that, the crowd goes crazy and momentum is towards their side, and that is when they're at their best. It starts on defense for them, and so far the defense just hasn't worked well against DLSU.
Davs, gusto ko lang dagdag, no? Yung Chico Briones minutes in the fourth quarter. I, I think they were hoping na siya yung magiging magic bonus sana dun. Diba? They were hoping na maybe this is the game where his shooting starts to enter, right? Do it in a big stage. But sadly, ayun, I think got rattled by the moment si Chico. Especially the turnover, yung parang pagkalingon niya, binigay niya pa rin. Alam mo ba yun? Parang I think he lost control of the ball, and then when he turned around, a LaSalle player was there. Kala ko, okay, hindi tutuloy yung pasa. But for some reason, the ball just slipped out of his hands. So I go, shit. And then it led to a fast break, diba? There's a CJ Austria finish on the other end. So I go, shit, sayang. I like Chico Briones. 6'5", 6'6", shooter. Pero yun nga lang, just not hitting right now with UP.
Yeah, in that situation at the end where Dungo was able to race him down the court and get that layup, one of the criticisms about him has been the defense, and
Chico.
those are like the moments that if he can clean that up, he would actually earn more playing time. Because when he gets hot, he could be a good shooter, but right now I think the shooting isn't there consistently enough to make up for the defensive lapses. The rotation of UP, that's a question too. I mean, some games some guys play more minutes, some games other guys play more minutes. Good thought. I know we said we are going to move on to the next subject, but we'll end it here. Good thought process or thinking right now for UP. If you had to pick your closing five lineup for UP
Closing
against
five.
like the ideal five guys on the court for UP if they face DLSU, for example, in the finals, who is their ideal closing five?
QMB, JD. So, 1, 2. Pagkatiwalaan ko ba si Torculas is my third. Fuck. Baila. No. Tiwala ko kay Jerry. So, Jerry, JD, Torculas, QMB. You know what? Fuck it. Let's put Francis Lopez.
You kind of have to, right? You have to trust Francis and
Eventually, it has to.
on him.
He has to do something eventually, di ba? Kasi the first two, okay, flop. But maybe the finals, eventually, di ba? So, yun. Ulit. QMB, I don't know, I'm not sure if he likes to be called Sean. O si Sean Torculas na lang. Lopez, Jerry, JD. I don't know what's wrong with Harold right now. I would have preferred Harold. I don't know.
I would still put Harold, I think, because once Harold gets hot,
Over Jerry.
Harold, JD, QMB, Francis.
So you remove Torculas? Hirap na.
Jerry. JD, Jerry, Harold, QMB, Francis. I think
Sige,
so.
Pwede. Debatable naman kasi the fact lang na nagsistruggle si Harold right now is the one preventing me from inserting him back in. But malay mo, kung nag-podcast record tayo tomorrow, malay mo, sagot ko bukas Harold. It's that thin line. It's like anything, diba? Depende sa mood mo.
Agree. Want to shout out Tita Benjamin and Tita Sharon Phillips, the Phillips brothers' parents, for tuning in on Facebook right now. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Okay, let's move on. Let's get it out of the gates right away. Did Precious Momowei deserve two unsportsmanlike fouls that ejected him from the contest against UST? What's your take on that?
Oh, oh, you know my take. It's I don't think he should have been I don't think he should have gotten the two unsportsmanlike fouls kasi hindi naman talaga basketball. It's a hindi talaga basketball play. It's a basketball play yung mga actions saying. First one, yung kay Motong Kara, 'di ba? In real time, it doesn't look like it grazed his face, 'di ba? Pero ano, it's clean. For me, it's a basketball play and then yung spin move kay Jello Crisostomo. Oh man, like Jello did his best. Pero when a guy is really long, what else can he do, right? What's a natural motion when you're gonna do a layup, 'di ba, over some? Ganyan. Anong gusto mong gawin niya? Ganon? Bababa siyang ganon? Like, paano? Like, Jero Crisostomo was in his airspace. Rightfully so, he has to contest that shot. Pero mahaba lang talaga yung limbs ni Momowei. It's a wingspan thingy. 'Di ba? So, it doesn't deserve it.
This is tough. I should put this egg down while I answer this
May
question.
nagsabi sa akin na siguro he should have gotten one unsportsmanlike foul. Then yeah, sige, bigyan mo ng one unsportsmanlike foul. Okay lang yun. It doesn't mean naman, okay lang yun, sige. Pero, hindi naman siya matatanggal the next game. 'Di ba? So, nasasayangan ako for UE. Sobrang sama na. Aside from UP, UE is also on the downward trend with how they're performing in the second round.
By the letter of the law, and I don't have it verbatim right now, but by the letter of the law in terms of FIBA and what an unsportsmanlike foul is, once you hit someone on the face, especially if they start bleeding, and both Tungkar and Crisostomo started bleeding, that's an unsportsmanlike foul. The referees are going to call that. Whether you wanted to do it on purpose, and I believe Precious did not do it on purpose, he's not that type of guy, the refs are going to call it an unsportsmanlike foul. Exactly. Basta ulomatic, says Luigi Ramirez. That's just how the rules have been. Not even just in FIBA, even in the NBA, even in the PBA. Sometimes maybe they'll let it go, but the PBA and EuroLeague and other leagues, the rules are the rules. Yes, JP, you're right. Rules are the rules. Do the rules need to change? Let's not get into that. That's opening Pandora's box, because there's some other things that might need to be changed if we talk about that. But what is Precious supposed to do? I mean, is it his fault
Anong gagawin
that
niya?
his elbow and his arms are longer and bigger than other guys? So what, are other players now just gonna go underneath him, sacrifice their face, sacrifice their nose to get elbowed, maybe get him kicked out of the game? I mean,
It's a strategy. Sino bang
it's
fifth last guy on the bench? You.
it's what they call big man tax in basketball.
Uh-oh.
It's one of the ways to neutralize the height advantages that taller players will have against smaller guys, to make the games more competitive and a little more balanced. Otherwise, the bigger guys will dominate all the time. I again, the letter of the law states those were unsportsmanlike fouls and those were the right calls, because people got hit in the face and the head. Does Precious have to be maybe more mindful of where his elbows or body lands after he makes his moves? Yes. And that's not, again, because he's doing it on purpose. It's just because UE needs him on the court to succeed and to win. And if he's not on the court, they won't have a high chance. They've already been losing recently, even with him on the court. But again, I feel bad for the guy, because what is he supposed to do? Right? I mean,
Yun
it's
nga,
his physical
gagawin niya.
makeup. And ultimately, it's, I don't like settling for it is what it is. When it comes to conversations, especially about sports, but in this scenario, it just feels that way. It is what it is. Those are the rules, and that's what happened. And it sucks. Now, of course, we have conspiracy theorists already on social media, including certain
Yeah.
UAAP players.
Oh, actually,
I won't
meron.
name them, but if you guys have seen it, if you know, you know. Claiming that because it's Ateneo, of course, Precious got suspended for a second straight
Pero wala
year.
na.
Ateneo's out of the Final Four
Wala na
race.
pinaglalaban Ateneo, putik. Wala na sila pinaglalaban.
um, of course, but we that's sports fandom in the social media generation, right? But I guess it is what it is, and it sucks for Precious. I would have loved to see him play against Ateneo. I mean, it would be better for the competition, right? I know the Balogan Believers Club is
Oy,
strong,
the president
and
is
you guys
here.
are excited for this for this possibility
The
of Balogan
Balogun
against an
Believers Club.
importless team. No,
SBBC, Solid Balogun Believers Club.
hey, look, now we got people excited. The BBC is strong. The
Yan.
faith is strong. No, but what are your thoughts about it, Nico? Because I just feel bad for Precious.
Sorry, I was like,
That's my
thoughts on
conclusion.
Balogun? Sorry, wait, what? Wait, nabigay ko na yung thoughts ko kay Momowei though. Like, what do you want me to share?
I mean, is it just one of those situations where it is what it is and we can't really do anything about it?
Yeah, ganun na, basically yun. It is what it is. At the end of the day, we have to respect what the UAP board decides. It's always been like that naman. Maybe for the future, ganun na lang. Kasi wala na magagawa eh. It's something na their word is final. At the end, we're just the media. We just say our opinion, the opinion of having free speech. But we have to live with it. And si Precious mukhang nag-aral na rin siya, nag-sorry na siya sa UE community na he won't play in the next game. It's a matter of it's your teammates picking up the slack for you and how they're gonna play against Ateneo with urgency, of course, dapat lang. Kasi if you lose against Ateneo, that's gonna be really bad.
It would be really bad. UE needs one more win to make their first Final Four appearance in 15 years. They've had 3 chances the last few games. They've lost each one. They just continue to struggle. The shooting has been off. And they're not just losing, Nico. They're trailing by huge deficits in this game. They're getting their butts kicked. They were 5-2 at one point. At the end of the
They've
first
been
round,
what?
right? Now they're just
1-4 sila recently, 1-5. Ano ba?
Yeah, they're 0-3 their last 3 games. They've lost 3 straight games after beating NU.
1-4.
Exactly.
They're
So
1-4.
they have come crashing back down to earth. I mean, some people will say it's probably the shooting that was so good in the first round kind of evening out. But look, we talked last time about how bad their shooting was against Adams and FU. Again, 22 out of 64, just 34% against UST. 10 out of 34 from 3-point range, 29.4%. Free throw shooting 13 out of 22. That wasn't great as well. They were out rebounded. They turned the ball over 19 times. So the good execution that was there in the first half of the season just isn't there. And right now, they don't look like a Final Four team.
Yeah, I agree. They really don't look like a Final Four team right now. The shots are not falling, and they just look overall. They did the complete 180 from the UE that I have seen in the first round.
Absolutely. Now, let's look at the rest of the. Actually, no, let's talk about UST quickly because that loss, that collapse against NU was really bad, right? That was a bad collapse. They were up double digits in the second half. They let NU come back and win the game, even if NU didn't have an FSA. And they put themselves in the position where another team can overtake them for the Final Four. But that win against UE was huge because now UST controls their own destiny. Who do you think's the better team right now, UST or UE? Like, if you were gonna, because we know number 1 is LaSalle and we know number 2 is UP. That's what the Final Four orders for the top 2 seeds are going to be like. So, if you were to say who has the better chance of scoring an upset from 3 and 4, is it UST or is it UE?
Easy. UST. They also have UE's number. Tinambaka rin nila nung first round yun eh.
And I love the way Nick Cabanero has been playing recently.
27 in the first half. Tama ba basa ko? 20 in the first half. 20 in the first half, right?
Something there,
Ano ba?
yeah. He finished
21,
with 27 points, 8
Ayun, 20 in the
rebounds,
first
8
half.
of 16, and he is now officially in the mythical 5 picture. So let's play a game. Not really a game, but let's try to look at the different Final Four scenarios and what could happen assuming different results. So as we mentioned earlier, let's look at the schedule over here. Yes, UE is 6-6. They have 2 games left. against Ateneo on Wednesday, which will be at UST. So maybe the UST fans will show up and root against UV for that game. And then they end against UP. UP, like I mentioned, already with the 2 seed. So their last 2 games for UP will be gathering that rhythm and getting on a good pace entering the Final Four. If UE wins their next game against Ateneo, they're in. They're in the Final Four because that would mean 7 losses. Am I right? Is it win and in for UE?
Teka
Let's
lang.
see. Let's look at the varsity
Meron na
lifestyle
bang
graphic.
meron na bang pinost si Varsity? Yung tatanong ko rin eh. Nag-post na ba si Varsity Lifestyle?
Shout out to
Mga
VLC for the post. Wala pa ata. I don't think they've posted yet the updated one today. Okay.
wait
UE
lang.
just needs to take care of business though. Yes. Because let's look at the schedule here. So November 13, DLSU NU. DLSU is the number 1 seed. NU is out of the Final Four picture. Second game, 6:30, UE versus Ateneo. Ateneo is already out of the picture. They're eliminated for the first time in the Tab Baldwin era from Final Four contention. If UE wins this game, they will be 7-6. Now, the teams in contention for the Final Four are UE, UST, Adamson, FEU. FEU has 1 game left, and
They
that
have to beat
game is
UP.
against UP. So to keep their Final Four hopes alive, FEU will have to face off against a UP team that, like I mentioned, is already the number 2 seed, but trying to get their rhythm back. I believe JP is uploading a picture right now. There we go, the game schedule. Yes, there we are, the updated schedule. Thank you so much to Varsity Lifestyle for doing this. So UP, FEU, and UE left on their docket. UE 6-6, Ateneo and UP. UST is 6-7 against Adamson. UST has one more game left against Adamson, and that's a big one. So yeah, I think that if UE wins this game against Ateneo, they're practically in. Because because
Is
yeah,
it
exactly. They're in because if UE wins this game, they would have a maximum of 7
sev-
losses.
7 and
Exactly.
6?
7-6. If UST beats Adamson, Adamson would have 8 losses. That would eliminate them from Final Four contention. And if Adamson beats UST in their own game, that means UST will have 8 losses, Adamson will have 7, and UE, assuming they beat Ateneo, would have a maximum of 7 losses, which means they would be in. So UE, it's simple. Win this game against Ateneo, and you're in. Now, let's say theoretically that UE loses this game to Ateneo. That means UE would fall to 6-7. Then let's say that UST wins this game against Adamson. If UST wins this game against Adamson, if UST beats Adamson and UE loses to Ateneo, that means that UST is in. UST would be 7-7, and they would immediately be in. So that's something to watch out for. Now, let's say that UE loses to Ateneo, that would make them 6-7. And then UST loses to Adamson, that would make Adamson 6-7. That would put UST at 6-8. And then that would put UE at 6-7. Am I right? I think I'm getting this right. Right? Okay. Some things to remember here. If there is a tie for the last Final Four spot, that will always be a playoff. That will always be a playoff. So assuming, like, let's say for example, UE and Adamson end up with a 7-7 tie, or Adamson UST end up with some kind of tie, there will be a playoff. There's no playoff to determine a tie between 3 and 4 for number 3. That's superior quotient, or who won over who. Given the picture, Nico, how do you see the Final Four image shaking out? Give me your prediction.
Yeah.
Who's 3? Who's 4? Because I'm assuming UP is gonna beat FEU in this regard. Now things get a
Yeah.
little crazier if FEU actually beats
Oh,
UP.
actually.
That would make things a little nuts, because that might open the possibility of a step ladder. But for now, let's say that UP beats FEU. You have 3 contenders for that last Final Four spot: UE, UST, Adamson. How do you see it playing out?
Ah. Hirap nito, bro. Hirap nito. As of November 11, 9:55 p.m., 3 Adamson, para yung mga magko-quote sa akin dyan, as of November 11, 10 p.m. Adamson at 3 for UST. Kasi I expect...
Adamson at 3.
Kasi di ba pag record nila, sabi natin mag-same record ang Adamson at UST, you gotta put Adamson above UST,
Adamson
right?
would win the tiebreaker, yeah.
Yeah. So, I feel like Adamson could be 3. Because they have the easiest schedule amongst the remaining eh.
I mean, Ateneo, yeah. UST, not so much. Sorry, Ateneo fans.
No, I mean like compared sa iba. Because UE has Ateneo UP. FEU has UP.
No,
UST
FEU
has who?
yeah. UST has Adamson. For UST, basta basically for UST, UE win 1, you're in. Essentially, di ba?
Yeah, pero yun nga. Ang scenario na to is UE loses to Ateneo because of, yun nga, the Momowei suspension hurts them. Trap game yung Ateneo. I'm not saying na Ateneo is favored to win against UE. It's just that they could lose to Ateneo. It's not a walk in the park.
Yeah,
Still,
it is. Especially
That's
without
what
Momowei, right?
yeah, that's my point. Na it's not a walk in the park. Yeah, Ateneo's the last seed. So what? Diba? Stab pa rin yan. You'll never know. And a number 4 UST. That's how I see it playing it out as of right now. As of right now, it could change. That's not definite. Pero so far, napupusuan ko ang Adamson na 3 for UST.
Interesting. So what's the roadmap for Adamson to be 3?
Win your next 2 games. That means you
So
beat
you go
UST.
7-7.
And then UST has 8 losses na, diba? When they lose to Adamson.
So yeah. So the roadmap for Adamson to be 3 would be they beat UST and Ateneo. So they go 7-7. UST ends up 7-7, but because Adamson would have beaten UST twice, first round and then in the second round,
3.
Adamson would get the tiebreaker 3.
Uh-oh.
And that would leave the 4th spot to be determined by UE's performance. Because if UE goes 7-7 and Adamson goes, okay, let's say this happens. Let's say UE goes 7-7, Adamson goes 7-7, and then UST would be 6-8. It's impossible for all 3 teams to tie. Right? Yeah, because UST and Adamson face each other. So it would be impossible for all 3 teams to tie. So if Adamson beats UST, they would be 6-7. UST would be 6-8. And then let's say that Adamson ends up winning that game against Ateneo. That would be their ticket to make the Final Four.
7-7.
7-7, exactly. In that case,
well,
UST
UST
would be
6-8 na.
Exactly. And then yung UE naman, if UE ends up winning one of these 2 games in this situation, UE would be number 4, and then UST would be out. But if Adamson wins their last 2 games, they would be 7-7. UST would be 6-8. And assuming UE loses the remaining 2 games, UE would also be 6-8. We would have a playoff between UE and UST to determine who would be number 4.
Yeah, exactly. Ganun.
Okay,
Ganun nga.
okay. Magulo to if FEU wins also, no?
Oh, gagi, mas magulo na yan. Kailangan talaga ng graphic. Hindi natin ito pwede discuss ng ganito na we're raw dogging it. You really have to have a graphic. If FEU wins against UP, we cannot do a podcast without a graphic if FEU wins against UP.
Grabe no, medyo sumakat ulo ko dun ah. How's your head treating you?
Nangatin na ka mata ko eh.
Oh, hey, listen, we're not saying that FEU will surely lose against UP. We're giving FEU a chance. I mean, FEU's been playing better.
Binigyan natin scenario. I think we gave the scenario na if FEU win. Nagbigay kami ng scenario na FEU can win against UP.
Okay, let's go through this. Let's just say that FEU beats UP.
So tired.
Hypothetically, that means FEU would be 6-8. Then let's say that Adamson loses to UST. Adamson would be 5-8. But that means UST would have a sure in at 7-7. And then let's say Adamson beats Ateneo. They would also be 6-8. And then let's say UE would lose the remaining 2 games against Ateneo UP. We would have a 3-way tie between FEU, Adamson, and UE at 6-8. That is where the step ladder comes in. Who would be the 2 teams that face each other first in that scenario? Because Adamson and FE are 1-1 against each other. Did UE's 1-1 against FEU? And then what's Adamson versus UE? Do you remember?
I'm checking the stats. Live stats.
Adamson beat UE in the second round. And I believe UE beat Adamson in the first round, the Lingo Lingo game winner. That means the
pala.
quotient would come in and we'd have to do some math. And that would be
I
a
think it's for
little bit
another
challenging
episode.
right now. Oh my God, these
Shit.
scenarios.
Okay, basta ako 3 ko Adamson, 4 ko UST. As of right now. Yun na yun.
So
We can do another
Adamson
episode.
is 3 and UE is your 4
As of right now.
as of right now.
As of right now.
Hmm.
Based sa scenario na binigay ko na matatalo ganito, mananalo sa ganyan.
So the simplest way to determine the final 4 is if UE wins against Ateneo and then UST wins that game against Adamson, because in that case you would have UE and UST as 3 and 4. Actually, UST 3, UE 4 if they end up tying at 7-7. But if UE somehow wins their last 2 games, they would be 8-6. And they would get
Kawawa
3.
UP,
And UST would be 4. I feel like there's one more scenario we haven't tackled. Let's go through this real quick. What if UE loses against Ateneo? They would be 6-7. Let's say UST loses against Adamson, they would be 6-8. Adamson beats UST, Adamson would be 6-7. And then let's say UE beats UP, they would be 7-7. UST would be 6-8. And then Adamson loses to Ateneo, they would also be 6-8. Then there would be a playoff for that 4th seat between Adamson and UST. But
all the more games there are for fans, dun yung scenario na lang na pipiliin ko.
exactly, I want the playoff game. Playoff games are always
Oo.
fun, knockout games. But let's say that UE loses to Ateneo and then wins against, let's say UE splits their last 2 games, 7-7 sila. And then UST falls to 6-8. And then Adamson wins their last 2 games, they're 7-7. Tanggal ang uste in that regard. And how about this scenario? Let's say UE loses both their games 6-8. UST loses to Adamson 6-8. Adamson splits their last 2 games. That becomes 6-8 as well. That's possible, right? Oh my God, man.
Yeah.
This is a head.
Kailangan talaga it's a big graphic for sure. Parang ang daming scenarios pa. Marami pa siya ng games that has yet to be played for us to make scenarios this early. Kasi ang daming eh.
I know. It's
It's
crazy.
like 9?
But let's just say, needless to say, that it's going to be an intense ending for the 3 and 4 seed because so many things can possibly play out.
Tama.
But your prediction is Adamson 3, UE 4.
As of right now.
As of right now, okay. I am gonna say UST 3, UE 4. I think that's my prediction.
Okay.
Crazy. We need an AI to like start giving us different scenarios. It's crazy, man. It's definitely crazy. All right. What a great episode, and really shout out to everyone for tuning in. I love the activity tonight. I loved how everyone was active. So let's end with the life corner for old time's sake. Nico, you go first.
Baka naman life corner ko lately. Nothing much. Like wala namang yeah. I think we're going to Europe sa more of update lang. We're going to Europe sa December. Christmas break. Tapos na-approve yung visa ko for Schengen. Eh di hell yeah, 'di ba?
Nice.
I bought like ano tawag dito? I bought like winter clothes talaga. Kasi
Hey.
iba yung ano, as yung mga long coat na kailangan daw malamig. So it's gonna be my first time sa Europe in December. Lahat ng visit ko sa Europe before June, July, sobrang init. So nagsho-shorts ako nung time na yun, pero ngayon ano talaga, I have to buy jacket, I have to buy boots. Oh, iyan sa magnanakaw, sanay na ako sa magnanakaw. Alam ko yung mga magnanakaw sa malala. Pero yun lang naman. We're in Europe. Spain, Germany, Italy. Tatlo. So yun lang.
Solid.
Yun lang yung, it's by my mother-in-law son. It's her plan. It's her idea. So nakikiride lang ako. It's not my money. It's my
Oh,
mother-in-law.
so you're going with family.
Yeah, with family. So sinama ako.
Solid yan. I mean, are you excited? Where are you most excited to try in Europe?
Germany. I've never been to Germany. Pero Spain, Italy, napunta ako na before. But, syempre, kasama yung family naman ng wife ko. So, masaya. Kasi before family
Fantastic.
ko. So, I was to see a different, with the other family.
Different side of things. Awesome. That should be exciting. Happy for you that you get to experience that. I can't wait to go to Europe for the first time. I've been to the States a few times, but Europe not quite
Maghanap
yet.
ako, magre-recruit ako for Ateneo. Hahanap ako ng Pilipino dun. Aba,
Phil
passport?
Euro.
Hanap ako dun. Bahala na, di ba? Mahal mo, makita ko sa park. Ako yung magiging ano ba yung movie ni Adam Sandler at ni Juancho Hernan Gomez? Makakarap ako ng Pinoy, mark my words. Sa Playing in the Winter. Oh, this guy has drive. I'm gonna bring you out that.
Fantastic. I'm sure Coach Stat would be happy. Okay, so for my life corner, I had my friend's wedding a few days ago, Saturday. That's why I wasn't able to cover their games, the game where Momowei was ejected. No. Although I was at the wedding trying to post that news during the reception on my phone where the data was pretty bad. But anyway, the morning of, see, I was a groomsman. So the morning of the wedding, he asked us to come to the hotel room early for a photo shoot. And being my friend Ram, his name is Ram, being the awesome friend he is, he gave his groomsmen gifts. Apparently this is popular in Japan, and it's something that you actually find in a lot of Japanese motels. Anyway, I got an egg, if you guys can see it.
Where's it going? Where's this going?
It's an egg. So I'm just gonna read what the egg says, okay? It says, first of all, it's called a portable pleasure device.
Whoa! Portable pleasure device.
It's called a portable pleasure device, and it is called an Easy Beat Egg Brush. It says new adult concept. And it says content, one device with lotion. I don't know what kind of lotion that is, ladies and gentlemen, but there's instruction manuals now to open it and how it might
Damn.
look inside. So shout out to my friend Ram for giving us an egg. I have not opened it, as you guys see. I have never used this in my life.
Maybe after this podcast I will.
Since I'm feeling nice, do you guys want me to open this right now on the screen and show you guys what the content is? Because I have never seen this in my life. I mean, what is inside this? Okay, has any of you watching right now, have any of you ever used this?
Yan, si Den, sure.
Oh, Enzo says he's used it. Enzo, what was it? Enzo, tell.
Say goodbye to the playback. Yan, makakuha ka na naman ng email. Delayed na naman payment mo.
Ay. Okay. let's do this real quick. Should I open this right now? Because I have never seen this in my life. I don't know how it looks. How do you even open this?
Di parang may tape. Tanggalin mo yung tape. Nakarap
Oh.
yung parang sticker.
Well, Nico says tanggalin, so I've pulled this out. I mean, should I continue, guys? Y'all let me know. Yeah, I mean, do I know what I'm getting into? Oh, someone on YouTube says, kala ko paparaffle mo.
Even better. Pag nagamit na, tsaka lang paparaffle ito talaga.
Oh my God.
nagamit
Ivan seems way too excited. All right, I'm going to take a sneak peek after I open it to see if this is safe to show to everyone. It's an actual egg. Parang mochi, actually.
Mochi, parang ganun. So far. Ano yung feel?
I mean, there's something you're supposed to pull out here. Oh. Huh. So, if you look inside, there's some, like, I don't know what you call
Gets ko
that.
na, gag.
But so there's like this is the lotion they're talking about, probably. It says, okay, you know what, guys? I think you guys can figure out what this is. Anyway,
Yeah, gets
my
yun na,
life,
gets yun na.
my life corner story is, shout out to my friend Ram. He got married. Props to him. Much love. It was a great wedding. There was emo music. So boys like girls, Fallout Boy, and apparently eggs. So I hope you guys enjoy that live corner segment. Nico, what's your analysis about this? Would this be a gift that you would like to give someone?
Yung mga groomsmen ko, pwede. Pwede, a good idea. Pwede.
Do you
Actually,
want
yung
me to send
mga,
this to you? Do you
one
need
lucky
it?
viewer, gago. Baka isipin pa ba, kailangan yan? Kailangan ba ganyan? Goodbye,
As you-
sponsors.
As you guys can
IG.
see, the podcast is very unserious right now.
Pwede mo bigay sa mga moderator mo sa TNE to thank them for their hard work.
So we just did something for the first time ever in the Navs Effect podcast. How do you guys feel about it? Let us know. Maybe it could be a new segment Nico can host.
This is a legendary life corner, sure. Dapat padala mo sa mga moderators. Thank you, guys. Fatay.
Oh my god. For those who are listening on Spotify, you guys might want to have to turn on the video to see what this was all about. Anyway, thank you to everyone for tuning in this episode. Shout out to Nico. You guys catch him on the Shoot First episode coming up soon. Nico, much love. Appreciate you, bro. And let me know if you have an egg. I don't think I'm gonna use it anytime soon.
Yung itlog na gusto ko, Wait, that sounds wrong. Basta niluluto. Yung itlog na gusto ko, niluluto. Yung mga itlog na gusto ko, niluluto.
All right, everybody. Goodbye from me and my egg. Appreciate y'all.